Alright, so I'm gonna try and say this quickly just to get it out of the way, but if you're not caught up to the spoilers for chapter 63 and 64, then please go ahead and watch the videos where I go over them in full. I'll leave a link to each video where I go into both chapters separately in the comments and description down below. Of course, if you don't want to be spoiled, then just take this as your warning, but otherwise let's just get into the video. So after having reread what's currently available for round 7 at the moment, I actually went through everything a couple times over. This is going from chapters 54 to 62, and my thoughts have only really gotten stronger, to be honest, especially knowing what we know now in chapter 63 and 64, and for the most part it seems like the majority is pretty satisfied with the result of Chin winning the round. But when it comes to any of the issues, it's noticeably Hades who's getting most of the criticism, and I know I'm using a broad stroke here when I'm saying this is where most of the criticism is coming from, but this still somewhat confuses me, especially if you're like me and was hoping Chin would win. Because I think what helps makes Chin's victory so satisfying is that Hades could have won for so many reasons. It just would have made so much sense given everything that was on the line. And after going through this fight a couple times over, you can really notice in hindsight what the setup was trying to build towards. Like Hades was some kind of gentle giant who was just too good to ever lose. And I'm just gonna make a guess here, I think this is all gonna come full circle when we finally see chapter 63 and 64 translated, because at the moment it's like most of the criticism is directed more towards what Hades could have been and not who he actually is. And if I hadn't made it clear, I think Hades is one of the best written characters we've seen in a while, maybe ever since round 4, and this would have to be one of the biggest reasons of what makes Chin winning so satisfying for me. Because in hindsight, it's like he was brought in to help his brothers when they needed him, and if that was the first marching order that the story gave him, then it just makes sense that this was the role he ended up playing, this very special and older brother. Of course, the story takes some extremes with him to make him more godly like in chapter 62, but this is also probably why so many people dislike the first half to round 7 and just call it bad since it focuses so heavily on Chin, if not too much. But in my opinion, I don't think the story had any choice, right? And what I mean is, if the authors were ever planning to have humanity take the lead at some point, then I think it meant they needed to write this superhuman-esque type human fighter and basically treat him like a main character. Like Chin just had to come off like he was too good to lose if the authors wanted to justify a lead for humanity, I think. And personally, I think this worked out just fine. I mean, I think Chin is very likable, his powers are unique, and he's extremely capable, so it's like Hades and Chin have that in common, like they were both too good to lose. And this is why I've said in my last video that I think had whether Hades lost or not, I was already prepared to call this fight my favorite round in Ragnarok, because I think Hades could have won for so many reasons, like the fact that Zeus and Shiva, two chief gods, had already won their fights, so it just made sense to expect the same from Hades, and it was just hard to even assume if humanity would finally take the lead here. And then you start to wonder if the third Greek god to die is gonna actually be Hades, so there was already so much on the line here that I couldn't reasonably expect either side to win, and this is also what I think makes the ending, specifically chapter 64, so great. And it's ironic in a way because it's like a lot of the Hades criticism only covers the end of chapter 64, when most of chapter 63 is Hades literally just ripping Chin apart since the end of chapter 61. So because the ending was so competitive, it's like everything comes full circle for both of them in the final moment of the fight. And when it comes to the ending of any round, this is the first time I'm looking at it from a different angle, where I'm noticing just how important the execution of it can be. And Record of Ragnarok usually gets it right for the most part. I usually think of round 3 when it comes to some of the best endings to a round that we've seen so far, but this is easily one of the most climactic endings in any of the fights so far, and I'm not sure if that's really fair of me to say just yet, right? Obviously neither of the next 2 chapters are even translated, but I think its events and the actual storytelling are what make this ending already so impressive. But what makes it work isn't only Chin, it's what him and Hades both bring in the final face-off, and even though I was hoping for Chin to win regardless, I don't think I would have even cared if he won or not if Hades just wasn't so cool, because a lot of what makes Hades look so untouchable wasn't just his backstory or just his special ability. I think it goes all the way back to chapter 50 when we first see him, and not only chapter 50 but also chapter 55 where we see Chin appear for the first time, and in both these chapters they both give some explanation to what Helheim actually is. So I bring this up only to further paint the picture of what makes Hades so likable, especially if you compare Helheim to the 6 warring states. And I've always liked that that parallel there, almost like it's analogously referring to the warring states like this dark and otherworldly time in human history. But you can argue the same for Helheim. I mean, that's the entire backstory that Hajin was representing, so this even goes all the way back to round 6. And I can't really tell you what's the best part about round 7, there's just so many things that jump out at me, but the way it also calls back not only to round 6, but also round 3 is usually the first thing I mention. So I know it's somewhat agreed upon that Poseidon is one of the least likable characters from the gods, and I'm sure he's a fan favorite for some, but I think I speak for most when I say that just isn't the case. Personally, I'm biased towards round 3, so my thoughts on Poseidon don't really count for much, but the way round 7 brought back my favorite round in the tournament at the time is something I could not have expected. I mean, to just put it into perspective, imagine if it was your favorite round somehow coming back into the story. It sounds like someone's fanfic, but that's exactly what happened after Hades decided to join, giving us so much more context to all of the 4 brothers, the beginning of Zeus as a chief god. We're even seeing Adamus return, but I highly doubt any of this could have happened if Hades didn't choose to fight in Ragnarok. And sure, we could have gotten a more generally agreed upon or more likable character from Hades, right? Maybe even a more stronger or capable one, but one of my favorite qualities about Hades is all the doors he left open, so it's almost like now the story owes us the best fight we can get in round 8. And I know I already made a video going over what my predictions for round 8 are, but when it comes down to which side is gonna win or lose it, I think there's a full-on discussion you can have here. Because on the one hand, I can see the gods sending out their most capable fighter yet, but it would be just as reasonable to expect the same from Brunhild. So no matter how I twist it, I think round 8 needs to be just as good as round 7, if not more. And maybe that's asking for too much, right? But we're getting into so much new territory here with humanity finally in the lead, the gods losing one of their most important chief gods, even the whole Valkyrie and Valen situation just got even more interesting. So I think no matter who you were hoping for, whether it was Hades or Chin to win the round, you're just going to expect a better fight now. And again, this only helps make the ending all that more impressive. And I know I didn't only talk about Hades here in this video, but you can see how so much was accomplished because of his character. But like I said earlier, I think it'll probably be well after the next 2 chapters get translated, when most of us are gonna agree in hindsight that Hades is one of the best characters we've seen in a while. But that's gonna be the end of the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Just a heads up, it'll probably be a while until we get the next 2 chapters translated, so we'll just have to wait it out, but I should still have a couple videos set for the next few days. But before I end the video, I want to give a very special thanks to the channel's first Patreon, Iron. Thank you so much for your support, and for anyone wondering, I just recently opened up a Patreon where if you're interested, you can sign up and get into this monthly Q&A I'll be doing now. I should be posting the first one sometime at the start of July, so from now until the end of June, feel free to consider joining. You'd also be helping me out a lot here in a massive way and get a special shout out like this in every single video. The link to it will be in the description below, or you could just search it yourself at patreon.com/Izanami. But other than that, guys, again, thank you so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, I would greatly appreciate it. And of course, feel free to comment down below what your thoughts are, anything you agreed or disagreed with. And if you're interested in more Record of Ragnarok, then make sure you subscribe. I'll be doing more here on the channel like always. And yeah, have a great day.